Right, Jonathan? Jonathan, you look naked this morning without Cole beside you. He texted me and said he couldn't be here. Uh, so we need to start on corporations this morning. I think we're lagging behind, and somebody probably think we're going too fast, but not so. We are behind. Uh, Corporations, yes, and we looked at a lot of this last week, and I'm just going to scan a couple of things, mention a couple more things before we get into some other things in the book. It's a separate entity. It can be sued like an individual, and they have to pay their own federal taxes. We know a new tax act just passed in December, and the corporate taxes went down from about 35% down to 21%. And we don't know how that affects anything yet. It's been around a while. I think it might help corporations when they pay high taxes, they pass it on to you anyway in the price of a car or the price of food or what have you. So that's to be seen. So we'll wait and see how that turns out. So the corporations are optimistic about it. They've been given bonuses and hiring more people and giving raises and so on. All right. I'm not worried about how you form a corporation, but anybody can be a corporation. If you got a small proprietorship, you can incorporate it. Susan, you're not incorporated, right? But
Yes.
probably yet.
Yeah.
But do you see any danger in your type of work? Have anybody been injured, or you do?
Yeah, but I don't have anything for them to come and take really, so
Okay, they could still take your personal assets, though, couldn't they?
ain't much there either.
Mhm. But anyway, forming a corporation, you have to have a board of directors, bylaws, and we're just not worried too much about that. But if you do incur cost in forming a corporation, it's called organizational expenses. I have helped some of my, doing taxes, proprietorships, I help them incorporate, or trucking companies, partnerships, I help them incorporate. But now this LLC is getting very, very popular. But so it's easy to incorporate. I formed a corporation myself one time with a couple of friends, and we were doing a consignment deal. And anyway, we got our first store and we got our first person to take on the task of operating a business. So we were going to do consignments. We were going to call it weekend consignment. And if people brought things, we would sell them, of course. But we bought some things ourselves. We bought a lot of unfinished furniture. This guy did. That started the first one. And I remember our opening day advertisement for him was naked furniture because it was unfinished, just to get attention and so on. He did pretty good at it, but franchise. He had our first franchise and our last franchise, and then we all got so busy doing other things we had to close it down. But so I did have my own corporation for a while, but I've had 2 or 3 partnerships, partnership in tax preparation, partnership accounting, 2 partnerships in the used car business. So partnerships, even though that's what I was in most of the time, are the worst form of business. All right, partnership is probably the worst. Corporations, good. You can't lose your personal assets. All right, the owner's equity is stockholders' equity, which I told you from now on, it will be, your assets, see if the pen's right today, is equal to liabilities plus stockholders' equity. That will be your accounting equation. Stockholders' equity, paid in capital, and retained earnings. Retained earnings is what the corporation made and they kept. If the corporation makes 100,000, they keep it all, it's retained earnings. If they pay 40,000 of it out in dividends, which is the same as a withdrawal, then they kept 60,000 retained earnings. So you got to get used to the corporation language, entries. Paid in capital is what you sell common stock for. Remember, market value of common stock may be $20. Come in, Sydney.
Good morning.
Did you just get back from the Olympics?
Basically,
All right, market value. But par value, we got to look at these values along the way, maybe $8. Now, if that be the case, you have a $12 gain already on that stock.
I don't understand that. What is par value?
Okay. Market value, if you bring up, you can go to MSN stock prices today, that will bring up what stock's selling for today. If I get into another screen, I can show you that. But that's the market value. Whatever you go out and pay for a share of stock today is market value. Okay, and I think I told you I bought some Disneyland stock for $19 a share. That was market value. Today, market value may be 110. Okay, so I'm 5 times its value. But that still was a par value. Now, par value, and when you get a charter, you got to put a par value on your stock. $1 par, $10 par, $100 par. That's what you got to start off with. Now, if you sell it at par, that's okay. If you sell it at par, if I sold one share of stock here and it was at par value, I would debit cash $8 and I'd credit common stock $8. Now, in a proprietorship, you debit cash $8 and you credit John Doe Capital $8. But in a corporation, you're probably crediting common stock. All right. But if the market value goes up, which it does, then I'm going to debit cash for $20. And I still have to credit common stock for $8. So I got to credit something for that 12. And we call it paid in capital in excess of par. But we'll see that, Susan, when we start looking at journal entry. Net income increases retained earnings, dividend decreases, just like drawing. A loss decreases. Retained earnings does not mean you have cash on hand. Now, issued, I wanted to show you this, which I did before. Your charter may authorize 100,000 shares of stock, but you may only issue 80,000 shares of stock, but you may only have outstanding 75,000 shares of stock. That means you bought back 5,000 shares, which we'll look at later, called treasury stock. Treasury stock, okay? Now, we pay a dividend only on the ones outstanding. We don't pay a dividend on authorized or issued. We pay a dividend on what's outstanding. If it's $1 a share, we pay $75,000 in dividends, okay? Again, I want to look through these fairly fast. Let me mention this par value again. They can have a no par stock. Some states have no par. Common stock has the right to vote. And 2 classes are paid in capital or common stock and preferred stock. Now, we do have to look at those too. When we sell preferred stock, we debit cash and we credit preferred stock. But preferred stock usually pays 8%. The dividend rights of preferred stock are stated either as dollars per share, like $4 per share, or as a percent of par. Preferred stock is 8% of par. That's $4 a share or 8% of total. All right. So if you had 100 shares outstanding, you multiply by 4. You're paying $400 dividend. Or if you multiplied 50 times 100 times 8%, it would still give you $400 dividend. So what they're trying to say, be careful when stated as a percent or as a dollar per share, you should get the same answer. Preferred stock has a little bit of preference, but it has no voting power in the company. All right, now this is where I need to bring up Notepad, and we need to look at some stock, and we need to look at this term cumulative preferred stock. Cumulative means we pay off preferred stock whether we pay anybody else or not. So I'm going to try to bring up Notepad and give you an example. Hoping my pen and everything is working okay today. All right, let's say you have 2,000 shares of common at $10 par, and you have 1,000 shares of preferred at 100 par. All right, now this is what we've got. All right, but let's say preferred pays 8% interest, just like the one on the screen there. Now, first off, multiply 100 times 1,000, see what you get. See what is the par value of our preferred stock. How much?
100,000.
Now multiply that 100,000 times 8%. You got $8,000, right? Now, anytime par value is 100 and 8%, that's $8 100. So what is 8 times 1,000? What is 8 times 1,000? Still 8,000, isn't it? All right, we're going to pay out 8,000 in dividends per year. Now I'm going to need another screen, so keep these numbers in mind. Okay, so we're going to see how much preferred stock receives and how much common stock receives, and if there's any in arrears. Now we're assuming cumulative. Now we're going to look at year 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to look at earnings or dividends that we pay out that year. All right. Okay, we're going to pay out 0 in year 1. So preferred gets 0, common gets 0. But how much is in arrears? We're supposed to pay preferred how much every year? So we got 8,000 in arrears. Okay. Now the next year, we got $12,000 in dividends that we're going to pay out. Now preferred gets it all. Why?
8,000, they get 8,000 this year.
8,000 in arrears plus 8 this year makes 16. So now how much is left in arrears? All right, we still have 4,000 in arrears.
Why are you putting 0?
All right. Now the next year we're going to have 40,000 dividends we're going to pay out. How much do we owe preferred?
4,000 plus 8,000, 16.
4 plus 8? Susan, 12?
Oh, sorry.
It's 12 again by coincidence. Now common gets the remaining, 28,000. Nothing in arrears.
Wait a minute.
All right, now look at the example I've given you. This is cumulative preferred stock, 8% par. Now, this pen's starting to do better for whatever reason. But preferred stock, we're giving out no dividends in year one, 2017. All right, preferred stock gets none, common gets none, but we still owe preferred 8. That's why the A up there means arrear. Well, now next year we owe preferred 8 plus a new 8, that makes 16. We can only pay them 12, so that leaves 4 in arrears. Now, 4 in arrears plus 8 next year, we owe them 12. Common gets the remainder. And year 4, nothing was in arrears, preferred got their 8, common got the remainder. Okay? Now, how many shares preferred stock was there? How many shares are preferred?
1,000.
All right. Divide 1,000 into 12,000. Hurry, you'll get $12. Divide 1,000 into 12,000. You'll get $12. Divide 1,000 into 8,000. You'll get. Now add up 12, 12, and 8. $12 in 1 year and $12. All right. How many years are we talking about? 4 years. Divide 32 by 4. You know why? That's because we guaranteed preferred 8%. So it's 8% a year. Or it's $8 a year. Yeah. Now, how about common? How about common? Up here, 0, 0. How many shares of common did we have? Was it 10,000? How much? 2,000. All right, divide 2,000 into 28. Common got how much? How much a share? Can you say 14? Is there 2,000 shares of common stock?
I don't remember.
You didn't write it down,
I
Susan?
didn't.
All right, here it is.
Oh, yeah, there it is. It's 20,000 shares.
How many shares of common stock?
20,000.
I thought I said 2. It's 20,000 par. All right, $10 par. All right, 2,000 shares, right? Now, can you divide 2,000 into 28 real quick? Without a calculator? What's 2 into 28? $14. But here, what they get per share? 42,000 divided by 2,000 is? Come on, you can divide 2 into 42 and get 21, can't you? You reach for those calculators too often, too much. All right, now let's don't stop there. I want to return. Now, I want you to divide the par value. What did we say the total par value preferred was? All right, if you multiply $100 par times 1,000, what is that? $100 par times 1,000 is how much?
100,000.
Is that 100,000?
Yes.
All right, and divide 100,000 into 12,000. What do you get? 12%? That's a dividend yield. 100,000 into 8,000 gives you what? Come on, what percent does that give you? What does that give me, folks? It gives me 8,000 by 100,000 is what percent, folks? I want you to see the dividend yield. Divide 8,000 into 100 by 100,000. What do you get? 8%. Now, let's go back up here to common. What is the par value of common? Multiply 10 times 22,000 shares. What do you get? Now divide 20,000 into 28 and see what your return on your investment is, or dividend yield. 28 divided by 20,000. $104%. All right, divide 20,000 into 42. Is that 210%? Divide 20,000 into 42, you'll get 2.1, right? 2.1 converted to a percent is 210%. So 210% would be a good return on your investment, wouldn't it? You invested 20,000 and got 42,000 dividends. Come on, and you still got your stock and it's still growing. So in the stock market world, you have two gains. You have gains on dividends, and you have gains when it goes up in market value. All right. Now, the 8,000 arrears means cumulative. Keep that example in mind. I know you have a problem that you'll need it, but you may not have an example in the book to help you. All right. So here we're going to sell common stock, preferred stock. $100, 5,000 shares par. 50,000 shares, $20 par. Now we're just selling it at par. We're not worried about market value. This is when the corporation's first formed. We debit $1.5 million, we credit $500,000, we credit $1 million. You got to get used to this journal entry. You know you'll have journal entries on this next test for corporations. If the stock is issued at a price that is more than par, it's been sold at a premium, or it can be sold at a discount. Now look at this stock. These examples are in your book. Here we're going to sell 2,000 shares times $55. Well, that's 110,000. But the par value preferred stock's only 50. So that premium is paid in capital in excess of par. Paid in capital in excess of par when you have a premium. Now you can give stock for other assets. You know, I don't have any cash to invest in this corporation, but maybe they'll take my land. So they take my land, it's appraised at 120,000. They're only going to give me 10,000 shares of stock. The par value is $10. That's 100. So paid in capital in excess of par is the other 20,000. So it could be land, it could be a building, it could be equipment. You can pay your initial lawyer fee. Some lawyers will take 100 shares of stock for doing the legal work for a corporation. Therefore, they own a little bit of that corporation. Okay. All right, journal entries for selling stock. When no par stock is issued, it's simple: debit cash, credit common stock. Now, some states say you have to have a stated value. A stated value is just like a par value. You would debit common stock, well, debit cash and credit common stock. The corporation issued an additional 1,000 shares. Here they're trying to show you no matter what you sell it for, there's no paid in capital. Sell it for 40, no paid in capital. Sell it for 36, no paid in capital. That's all they're trying to show you. But now, if the state says it has a stated value, it works the same as par. Here it says, in some states, no par may be assigned a stated value. And if it does, you've got debit to cash, $40 stated value. I mean, 25 is a stated value. Credit common stock, and then credit paid in capital in excess of stated value, just like you would par. We got a lot of entries there to worry about, don't we? A whole lot of entries. cash dividend. There's 3 dates to a dividend. Look at these 3 dates. The date of declaration means you have a liability. It would be something like dividends debit and credit dividends payable. On the date of record means nothing. But on the date of payment, you debit dividends payable and credit cash. So let's see if we have examples. All right, you debit cash dividends, credit cash dividends payable. On the date of declaration, date of record, nothing. On the date of payment, debit or payable and credit cash. Now, dividends in a corporation are similar to what in a proprietorship? Dividends in a corporation are similar to what in a proprietorship? Drawing. Withdraw.
What was that again? Say it again.
Dividends from a corporation is similar to drawings in a proprietorship. Retained earnings in a corporation is similar to capital. All right, but we'll get those things we have to work on. Sometimes a company gives a stock dividend that's a little harder for you to get a handle on. If they give a 5% stock dividend, all right, you give a 5% stock dividend. So whatever the par value, the market value is, it's $3,100,000. The par value of the stock is $20. That's $2 million, and paid in capital is $1,100,000. Hey, what is this first credit right here? What?
You're asking the wrong one.
All right, just give me that whole entry. Debit what? Oh, dividend. Credit what? Yeah. That's what I wanted her to say. Stock dividends distributable, okay? You get tongue-tied on it, or what have you. Some books put in there stock dividends to be distributed to make it easier, but stock dividends distributable. It's almost like a liability. You haven't issued the stock yet. So you got a whole lot of journal entries in this chapter to learn, folks. And when you distribute the common stock, then you credit common stock and debit to stock dividends distributable, okay? Hey, Darryl.
Give me a call after you go.
Yeah, sure will. Now, a stock split, we don't worry about any interest for a stock split. Now, if there was 100,000 shares of stock and split 2 for 1, how many would you have? You're doing it in reverse way. If you had 100,000 shares of stock and split 2 for 1, how many shares would the corporation now have? 200. Now, if the par value was $10 a share, what do you think the par value would be now? One, somebody. 5. That's all a stock split does. You make a note, a memorandum entry. Make a note. Stock split, the par value. You know, they can have a reverse split. Just about like the one Susan was saying. It could go from 100 to 50 if it's a 2 for 1 reverse split. And you want to reduce the market price and so on. All right. Here is the par value before the split. It's 4 shares, $100 par. Now you're going to do a 5 for 1 split. So 5 for every share. You own 4, now you own how many? 20. The par value was 100 divided by 5. Now your par value is only 20. but your total par is still, excuse me, 400. Treasury stock is when a company buys back its own stock. All right. Excuse me. You debit treasury stock for 45,000 and you credit cash for 45. You bought back your own stock. All right. Now, if you sell it for more than 45, you made a gain, right? If you sell it for less, you took a loss. So here, do we sell it for more or less? We sold it for $60 a share. We only paid 45 for it. So the other 15 is paid in capital from the sale of treasury stock. We got paid in capital from the sale of preferred stock, paid in capital from common stock, paid in capital from treasury stock. So remember, all those paid in capitals are part of the journal entry somewhere.
Did you say those again?
You got paid in capital from the sale of preferred stock, from the sale of common stock, and from the sale of treasury stock. Now here's the stockholders' equity section of a balance sheet. It's grown a lot. Before it was just on no capital. Well, in a partnership, it was D capital and C capital. All right, but here we got preferred stock, we've got common stock and excess over par, and we've got treasury stock, and we had earnings, retained earnings, and we still got some treasury stock on the books. So here's your stockholder equity. This is the third part now of your balance sheet. Assets is equal to liabilities plus stockholders' equity. Here's another one. Preferred stock plus common stock plus retained earnings minus treasury stock is still $1,525,000. This one just shows in more detail. So we have to practice the stockholder equity section. And we have to practice a retained earnings statement. I looked at retained earnings statement. Retained earnings, add net income, subtract dividends, leaves you ending retained earnings. All right, what does that remind you of? A capital statement. Beginning capital plus net income minus draw. Retained earnings is just like an old capital statement. It's a hard chapter, folks. If you don't work your homework on this chapter, you won't be able to do one journal entry on the test. Just like some of you couldn't do a journal entry on a partnership. I could make an excuse for a couple of people who didn't have books and so forth. All right. Now to learn this chapter, we got to practice. Now, I have not put solutions on Moodle yet, but I'll try to do that today for this chapter. Can any of you still get into your old? I've got all of them on there in one thing, and I can't do that now. Can you still get into your 0201? You can't get into 0201?
I think I still have it. Yeah.
See, it had all the solutions for every chapter, didn't it? So, yeah, I'll try to. Yeah, okay. So, anyhow, but I'll try to get them a chapter at a time if I have to. But I'll get them over there, and I'll get chapter 13, 14 on today.
Can't do it without it.
Yeah, they help.
Without it.
Okay, so you had some assignments, and there's a lot in this chapter. So please review it, read it well. Now we're going to look at some exercises, whether they were assigned or not. So to do this, we got to practice. So let's go to the page where exercises begin. That'll be on page 659. All right, I want you to look at exercise 1. Imogen, a developer of radiology, has stock outstanding as follows. 40 shares of Kim referred 2% stock at 75 par and 100,000 shares of $50 par. Now, folks, I want you to set up a chart just like we did. You know, I don't know how good some of you are taking notes, but you should set this chart up that I did in class for this problem. So, set this chart up and do exercise 1. And we're going to look at it in a minute. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. You at home, please participate. Exercise 1, page 659. I'm going to help you a little bit on that problem. Now, how much preferred stock was sold? How many shares? Is it 20,000? All right, 40,000. And the par value is what? All right, now multiply for me. $75. Multiply 40,000 times $75. Is that 3 million or 300,000? Get that decimal in the right place. Is it 3 million or 300,000? What?
3 million.
Multiply again, folks. Make sure you get. It looks like it'd be 3 million. Now, what percent are you paying on that 3 million? And multiply that by 2%. What's 2% then of 3 million? How much?
60,000.
Now that is your preferred guaranteed dividend. You got to pay that every year. If not, it's in arrears. So now take exercise 1, set up this chart, and see what you can do. Is everybody able to look at a book now? All right. You don't have a book? You don't work on some book? You don't have a book? We need to work some in class to help you. I'm working my book. Last time. Last time we don't give away our book. No. Please running yours. Yeah, thank you. Sure, that one.
Okay. First year they got 36. No.
You're not doing that
That's
one?
okay, that's okay. So, first year they got 36. We don't pay the next.
We pay them 36.
We do pay.
Yeah. All right, in your workbook, you've got Hey, you already got this set up with your workbook. What? Huh? Hey, you got a workbook, you got a chart right down through there. Do it with. Okay, take 2 or 3 minutes. Workbook set up a little bit different, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Everybody seen this young man back here? I think he was a couple of days. I see him around.
He probably has upstairs.
I think he emailed me saying he wanted to come in and take a test, but he never did. All right, let's look at this together, folks. For sake of time. Now, the first year we give away 36,000, right? How much do we owe preferred? Do we calculate 60? So preferred gets it all, right? Now your workbook has it set up a little bit different. Now common gets how much? Now how much is in arrears? All right, we got up to that point. And your workbook, it may look a little different. Now, year 2, how much we're going to give out? 90? All right, what is 60 plus 24 in arrears? How much?
84.
All right, we got to give preferred 84. And common gets what?
6.
Nothing in arrears. Third year, how much was given out?
115,000.
Preferred gets what we owe them of 60. Common gets
550,000.
75. 60 from 115.
Yeah, well,
Is that 55?
I got it 50.
Nothing in arrears. How much are they giving out next year?
140,000.
And preferred gets 60. Common gets the remainder. Now they may ask some of those other questions I was asking earlier. Okay.
Dividends per share.
I've got PowerPoint principle. I thought I had solutions too, but I just got PowerPoint over there. I know I've got principles on here, I just have to find it. Okay, I'm assuming this is still broadcasting as long as it's up there. All right, so let's look at the solution to number one. All right. 36, 24 was in arrears. This is first year. Now, if you want total preferred shares outstanding, they got 90 cents a share. If you want to add all 4 years together, you'll see it will divide it by 4, it'll be $1.50 a share. All right. Now, preferred year got 84, that's $2.10 a share. Preferred year got their 60, that's $1.50 a share. Preferred year got their 60, that's $1.50 a share. Now, Common got nothing here, and here they got $6,000, got 6 cents a share. You're 55 cents a share, and you're 80 cents a share. This is probably more the way your workbook's set up, isn't it, John? That's pretty much the way your workbook's set up. All right, don't know what kind of example the book gives you. I don't believe they give you a good example on that. But you need to practice some journal entries. Let's take a minute and do the journal entries for exercise 3. Journal entries for exercise 3. Turn back to your book, please, and look for a check figure. That first entry, what page are you going back to your book to check on? Folks, you need to practice these with us this morning. I need everybody to write them down. If you don't have a workbook, do them on plain paper. Jonathan, what page in your workbook?
568.
What?
568.
568. How about your textbook? What's your best page? Which one? All right.
Which one?
Yeah, that would be okay. First issue stuff. Some of the first back in here, yeah.
I got 630, 639.
Oh. Whew. Okay, Haley, do you have a journal entry? Any kind of journal entry?
Yeah, one thing.
All right.
This is 400,000 shares. Yeah.
Get them here. I'm like lost. Okay, so 4,000 is gonna be times 18, right? Then minus, because it's 18 preferred, I mean, like in excess of.
18 is the cash you received. You know that.
But I don't know how to.
That's what your debit cash for. The 10 is the par value. That's what you credit the stock for. The difference is a premium, which is called paid in capital. You'll get used to that if you practice along with me. But if we practice it in class, we need everybody to have their textbooks because some people don't want to loan theirs out anymore. Maya says if I can carry mine to class, by golly, everybody else can.
Drop mine on my foot.
Okay, here you are, folks. Your debit cash for the 7,200,000. You credit common stock for the $10 par, and you credit the other as paid in capital in excess of par. Now, on November the 19th, what did they do? Sell 50,000 shares times $80. That's preferred stock. Par value is 75, and you got paid in capital. So you got two entries: a debit to cash, a credit to whatever stock it was, and a credit to paid in capital. Because market value is above par value. Any question then on these two entries? All right, let's flip over and do number 5 real quick. Exercise 5. Question, Susan?
So, right?
Yeah. Turn over and do exercise 5. We're going to debit land for the number of shares of stock times the selling price of the stock. That's what you debit land for. So how much you going to debit land for? $300 what?
3,360,000.
3,360,000. What's your debit land for? That's the number of shares times the selling price or market price of the stock.
Market price.
Yeah.
So,
Now, what's the par value of the stock?
$80.
Multiply 80 times that number of shares. All right. What do you credit the stock for?
$2,400,000.
All right, what now, John?
$2,400,000.
$2,400,000. And what is the difference called? Okay. Now, we're gonna be doing that enough that most people that will just sink in. You debit land for the 3,360,000. Credit common stock for the 2,004,000. And your credit paid in capital for 960,000. Same interest, folks. If you'll just practice and you'll learn them. Okay, take a minute, do number 8. Do number 8. Some of you did this for homework, probably.
Number 8.
Yes. On that first entry, you're gonna debit.
I got leave it that go somewhere.
Okay.
Don't need to turn anything in or
No, just make sure you get the assignment.
all right, no problem.
You want to copy these assignments down before you leave?
Take a picture of it.
This is Thursday. Okay, this will be Tuesday. Okay. Thursday and Tuesday.
Thank
All right, okay. Okay, number 8, we just issued stock for cash. All right. Sydney, how about that one? The first entry on number 8, you debit what? I know you're not feel good, so I know.
You debit cash
And credit?
and then you credit on stock and stuff.
All right. Definitely should be able to get that entry. Well, about the same. But we'll look at number 8. So it's still the same entry, debit, cash, credit, common stock, but it's 2,000,008. Now just look at these entries pretty fast. We issued 1,000 shares of common stock to an attorney. What do we debit? He's not giving us cash. What do we debit? Does anybody know? What? We put a whole bunch of expenses under this one category. If we give an attorney shares of stock, it's organizational expenses, 1,000 times $7. If we give an attorney stock in lieu of money, it's organizational cost. Now we're going to issue some preferred stock or common stock for land. Debit land for the market value of that stock. You're also given appraised value of land, building, and equipment. Add all that up. Stock was worth $7 times 80. So add up all your debits, subtract par value of stock, and you got paid in capital. Wake up, Haley. Now let's look at the last entry. We sold preferred stock for $44. That's $1,000,001. The par value was $1,000,000. Paid in capital $100. All right. If you'll do your homework, you will learn these entries, and you'll learn the dividends, and you'll learn the treasury stock. All right, I'll put these on today on Moodle. But right now, let me bring up Notepad. Your assignments for Thursdays, exercise 9, 10, 14, 16, 19, and 20. And also problem 13, 1A. This is problem. All right, that's your assignments for Thursday. Now your assignments for Tuesday will be 2A, 3A, 5A, and the read chapter 14.
3A, 4A, 5A.
And read chapter 14. Now that's your assignments for Thursday and Tuesday. So some of you can work ahead. Please learn this chapter. If you don't, you're totally lost in chapter 14.
So can you answer me a question? Can you go back to that last question you had?
I'm trying to find it, Susan.
That's it.
Yeah, it's in Word.
Yeah, okay, so if there are land, buildings, and equipment,
Okay.
where did they get the excess part? I don't see that in the problem.
You don't. Add up land, building, and equipment. Add those three together.
Okay,
And then subtract the par value of 560 from it, and you'll get to 160. Okay. All right.
yeah, that's for you, something crazy like that.
Now I've got to find out how I